Hi, I'm Justin Daley, CEO of VR Resources, and I'm here with Byron Holbik. And if you've been following our news releases for the last couple weeks, you've noticed that we picked up a couple new properties, and we picked them up from this guy. I'm going to introduce you now to Byron, where he's been focused on lithium exploration, but I think his true passion all along has been copper and gold exploration. For instance, the Silverback property just south of Uppsala, where he lives, was the first property he ever staked himself. Now, in the meantime, in 2021 and 2022, I understand you got into the lithium game. Tell us
Yes.
about it.
So when I got started, that was the hot commodity. Nobody cared about gold. It was after the gold rush of 2019, 2020. Gold was down. You couldn't sell a gold property. So lithium was a hot commodity, and um, logging seemed to help that. I mean, most of these pegmatites are exposed on logging roads, and I was able to travel down them because I knew where they were and when people were logging them. So I was able to find quite a few new discoveries. Some friends, pegmatites, in spodumene exploration. So
And when you stake those properties, I know this because you've told me, you stake those pegmatite claims and then you would vend them into other properties. What did you do
yes,
with the money when you sold those properties,
I put it back into my other properties.
the
So
copper and gold ones?
yes, I didn't listen to anybody that told me never invest your own money in these claims, and I didn't think that was I thought it was great. I thought it was a good thing, the right thing to do. I mean, I'm a double down guy. I like the junior mining space. I like exploration companies, and I like betting on myself. So I took 90% of the money and put it back into exploration. So everybody asked me how I was able to afford doing exploration on my own property, doing airborne surveys and diamond drilling. It's because um, I was able to make option agreements and put that money back in the ground.
Yeah. So, for instance, you've done a Digim frequency domain EM survey and magnetics on both the Westwood target in the
Mm-hmm.
Empire District and Silverback, and you've drilled 2 holes for which we're awaiting assays right now into the Silverback property. We've seen some of the core the last couple of days, and to me it looks great. We know that there's some nickel in the bottom of the hole
Mm-hmm.
2, where you actually extended to hit one of these magnetic feeder dikes. That was the target of that hole, but in between you managed to find some sheeted quartz veins with some disseminated sulfides that I think might be anomalous in gold. So we'll wait to see what happens there. But to me, that was what was most impressive to me is I found this prospector who's almost exactly the same age as me, who's as driven as I am to find something. Like, we both want to find a mine. We're not
That's
here
yeah,
to just make money and have fun along the way. The bottom line for us is let's find a mine,
yeah.
right? So already we've got 2 properties that where a lot of the work's been done by Byron. VR has now picked up these properties, and we have an opportunity to hit the ground running and actually find something new. At Westwood, we've got a target that is an intrusive style magmatic sulfide system where you have copper, gold, and PGEs and a little bit of nickel in this disseminated system. And at Silverback, you've also got nickel, copper, PGEs, but there's this gold system that's there. What do you think that gold system could be?
So it's most likely a northeast trending gold structure, similar to that of Hammond Reef and Malima, and in the Marmion terrain. We've got these sheared and altered volcanic stack shear system where we first found the copper gold, where we got, I think, grades of 5.6% copper, 10 grams gold in this shear. And we also have this broken up mag system. Now that we can see this on the detailed geophysics, is why I wanted it done. The regional mag was not very good. We had no real EM. Well, we did have a historic EM there, and
The 6 channel
the
EM.
6 channel EM that always got me really excited. It's sitting on the flank of this feeder dike that we got, I think the grades when Dorothy was there from the OGS, we got 0.17% nickel in this ultramafic, really high tenor. There's this lone 6 channel EM anomaly on strike. And that had always, there's that little piece of me that was just, always like hungry to drill that thing.
Yeah.
And
You did.
I didn't.
Oh, no,
I decided that it's probably better that somebody else makes the discovery, and it keeps it just keeps everything alive. Like, I wanted to drill on that property close to the copper gold showing, and I wanted to drill the feeder dike that was going into it because there was a coincident EM on the mag. And I thought, well, if anything else, this is the easiest, cheapest target to drill. The EM is a little further away, was a little more expensive, a little bit more of a trail to build. And I thought, well, heck, I'll drill these two. If I hit here, well, then that's a slam dunk. So
sure. Well, that's what we hope
Well,
to
that's where we
do.
hope anyway. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's where getting as much information as I could get about the property and the geology. We have remobilized Molly in the ultramafic, which led me to believe there's a structure here. Something moved the Molly from somewhere.
Yeah.
We could see the stack shear. It moved the copper and the gold in. So was there a porphyry underneath? Everybody told me I was crazy for thinking there was a porphyry. And we know in Disco 2, we hit an altered Archean porphyry. So I guess I wasn't so crazy to think that.
Yeah. And just to put some perspective on it, and everybody watching this can now tell that you're not just a prospector. You keep me on my toes most of the time as well. He knows a lot about geophysics, geology, and he's actually starting to look at the lithoprobe data in these regions and start to do some reconstruction of what the Archean was doing at that time, reading the latest research, which me being down in Nevada for the last couple of years and up in James Bay, I'm catching up now with Byron on this research. But one of the newest mines to go into production in Ontario is Cote. I'm not making a big stretch here. This is a similar deposit style where you have intrusion related gold with copper and sericite alteration, chloratization of the wall rocks, and iron carbonate veining and quartz veining carrying gold. And that's exactly what we saw in the drill core the other day. Yeah.
Well, and that was always the thing for me at Silverback was I knew there was this mafic ultramafic unit there. We had 2 nickel showings on both ends of the property, 3 kilometers from each other, and one's 0.11, the other one was 0.17%. Albeit that's not huge, but we don't know where we're sitting in the system, right? If we're in a precipitate nickel system, well, it should be on the bottom. Well, where's the bottom? We're in the Archean. This thing's rolled and twisted and it's all over the place. Then it's been sheared and altered from these northeast trending gold structures. So there's a lot of indicators here that there's a lot going on, and it's very poorly mapped. It's very poorly exposed. I happened to have been logging in the area when I found this and decided to stake it. Another reason why I'm there and why I think it was underdiscovered, because I'm not bound by these rules that I get told about all the time that that nothing that can't be there, that can't be here, and I'm like, well, then why did I find
away
this?
from the greenstone
belts
or
that doesn't meet the Hemlo model. Well, we're not in Hemlo. We're somewhere else, and I think that's what's helped me discover these new properties. I mean, we are standing here on Golden Bear. We got a breccia just to the south here that's running copper and silver. We have the Empire District. You got platinum palladium right beside the highway. And like Justin said, that's where I've been looking at the lithoprobe data. And I think we might have found maybe a new subduction zone, a new arc. We've got this mineralization and these magmas that are obviously mantle derived. We know that from the geochem. So we've got something here. And I think with more research and more data and more geophysics and some drill holes, we can get all the data we need to make these big discoveries.
Yep. So that's the plan going forward. As Byron said, we're here at the Golden Bear property. Under his hand here, we've got some pretty gaudy looking chalcopyrite in this breccia zone. And here, this is one of the earliest stage projects that we picked up from Byron. And the idea is to try and test the extent of where we see this one knob where the logging company stripped some soil off of there to build this turnaround spot for the logging trucks. They exposed, brand new copper silver mineralization. Where does that head to? So maybe some trenching in the future here. As far as Westwood, the wheels are turning right now on how we can do some whole rock geochemistry on all the intrusions along the highway, so we can start to figure out what is the genetic model for these intrusions. And then with that, get some DCIP or EM data on that intrusive system to see if there's a lactazil or entwine or marathon style intrusive magmatic sulfide system with copper, gold, and PGEs in it. And of course, lastly, one that I'm really excited about, Silverback, which you've held the longest, is get some more drilling done. But because we're seeing that disseminated sulfide in the altered porphyry with all these quartz veins running through it, again, using that DCIP technology, which VR Resources has been using for the last couple of years now in Nevada, to identify large sulfide bodies. And we're hoping that if we can identify a big chargeability body at Silverback or at Westwood and get a drill hole into it this winter, then we can start turning some heads. And that's where the fun's going to start. So I'm excited to work with Byron. We've known each other for about 2 years now, and we talk about junior mining stocks just about every day. We talk about where we're going to find the next mine. So I hope you join us.
I think that's always been the goal. And that's why I put 90% back in, because it's not to make $1 million staking and optioning properties. It's to find a mine, period.
And bet on yourself.
And bet on yourself.
So with that, stay tuned.